Hello, hello, and back again in Kerbal Space Program. And today we are finally going to explore the Mun. So, what I thought could be fun for the first thing to do is I want to make a little satellite. Because the first mission is just to merely get an encounter with the Mun. And then I'm guessing we'll get an orbit the Mun, and then we'll get a land on the Mun mission. So I don't. If I just straight up go and land on the Mun, will I only be able to complete one mission? Also, I don't need to create a little satellite orbiting the Mun, but I thought it would be fun. Okay, maybe scratch that, as looking at it, one, this doesn't have any form of stability assist, which would be fine on and of its own, but that would mean that realistically to get in orbit, I'd need someone else there as well. And I also have just realised I don't have any form of solar panels, so I can't actually really make a satellite. I was looking at using this little module here because it's pretty cool actually. It's got a decoupler built in, and it's also got built-in ablator, so it's a pretty cool re-entry module. The problem with it, looking into it, is that it doesn't have a reaction wheel, unlike this one, which means that you can't turn it around in space. It would require having some RCS, which I don't have, and I don't have any other form of reaction wheels. So, scratch that, and we're just going to stick with good old Mark 1 command pod. So, for the little module that's going to actually explore the Mun, I've got the command pod with the heat shield, and then little fuel tank and this. So, I might not even end up trying to circularize an orbit. This isn't going to be a lander, it just needs to get an encounter with the Mun for this first contract. And then this will be my next stage, and this will just help me get my orbit around Kerbin. In terms of the science, I will at least put these on here, but I might not actually use the Science Junior for this one, because I'm going to be going back there to land on it anyway, and I'll definitely want the Science Junior then. So if I just keep a hold of that for now, I can do some crew reports, but for the time being, I don't think I'll use that. Cool. So this is the finished ship I'm going to use. So it's very similar to the other one, but we've got an extra stage, which should hopefully be able to get us back from the Mun. This one just to circularize the orbit, and then got two of these bigger fuel tanks than I used on the last one to get up to orbit with these rocket fuel boosters again. I'm going to drop the limit of these to about half, maybe. We'll see how that goes. I can also, I've not got any RCS, so I can remove the monopropellant, and I won't need all of that ablator. So if I drop that down to about 60, maybe. Realise this has a wrong name, so let's call this Mun Encounter. Double check staging, so these will release, boosters will fire, and then I also want that one. That'll then split off. Separate there. Cool. Staging's good. Jeb's looking good. Let's start. I'm a bit paranoid at this point to try and start doing my turns in, since every time I've tried, these engines have just gone haywire, but I still feel like I should start doing a little bit of a turn now. Cool, there goes the solid boosters. Just throttle up and start properly moving towards the 45 degrees. Then let's go to the map view. Check. Oh wow, okay, I am already going into orbit. I went up way too far apparently. So in which case, because that means that, you know, I'm going fast enough in terms of height, I just then need a lot more speed going across the planet to stop me falling back down to Earth and create an orbit. So if I point actually a little bit down, because that's higher than I need it to be, I will lose some height, but I'll gain a lot more speed moving across the planet, so to speak. Cool, and then that's that stage of the rocket done, and I can point prograde, get rid of that. And hope I've not messed this up. I'm a little bit worried that I'm not expanding my orbit out quick enough. Might just be able to get away with it. I'll start pointing this way a little bit and gain a bit more height. I should be okay. Oh yeah, I've got so much fuel, it's fine. Yeah, there we go, coming into an orbit now. So my periapsis isn't quite up to escaping the atmosphere, but this is at 80 kilometers. And there we go. Close enough to a decent orbit. Okay, so now that we're in orbit, I'm going to zoom out, and there's our target, there's the Mun. So I can actually set that as target, and I'm fairly certain that yeah, so if this had a sort of orbit that's completely different to where I'm currently orbiting, Minmus, for example, is got a completely different, 6 degrees difference. You can see when you line it up. But me and the Mun, because it's less than 1, I should easily be able to get an encounter without having to adjust that. And then all I'm going to do to try and get an encounter is create that, burn outwards, and then because I've got it set on my target, I can see where the closest approach is going to be. So if I just bring that up, and then move this around, I can start... Oh, and there we go. So that's changing because I'll get an encounter. This sort of encounter would actually just completely slingshot me outside of the Kerbin system, which are not quite what I want. So if I... about there. The fact that it's expanding out so much, I think, means that I must be fairly close. But yeah, that'll do. And then what I'll do is when I'm halfway there, I will adjust my orbit slightly. Okay, and we're coming up to the burn now. Just in a couple of seconds. Already pointing in the right direction. And let's watch for the encounter to happen. Drop back into here because you can't do your staging when you're in map view. So we've got an encounter with the Mun. And then what I'll do now is I will, about here, halfway to the Mun, add another maneuver node, and I can focus my view to the Mun. So this is where my orbit is currently going to take me. So it's actually pretty good. It's not too bad at all. If I just extend this out a little bit more. What I'm also going to do is, because this is less than a second of burn time for this, because it's such a small adjustment, I'm going to drop down the thrust drastically. So then that's now a 10-second burn. It's a lot easier to sort of control what the orbit is going to be like. Here we go. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to stop just before there, delete that so I can see it easy enough, and then I can just slowly adjust my orbit as I desire to get it to about 50. Excellent though. So let's warp over to just encountering. Here we are, about to enter the Mun. And that's flyby the Mun complete. Oh, but there it is. There's Jeb having a look at the Mun. I guess I can do a crew report. Nice 10 science there. Log the pressure data and temperature. Now kind of regretting not bringing the Science Junior actually, because I've got so much fuel left. I would have easily been able to do that, but okay. Cool, so I've done all the science, gone out, collected it, done an E.V.E. report, and I can now warp to her a little bit closer. Cool, and now we're in space near the Mun, so I can do another round of the science. You know what? Whilst I have all the fuel, I'm going to do what I did with Kerbin just before and get an orbit. Oh, I should bring this up though. And then once I have an orbit around the Mun... Ooh, that's not good. Don't want to be quite that low. What I can do is when I'm orbiting, I can go around and keep doing E.V.E. reports and get it for all the different biomes of the Mun. That's the lowlands got. Oh, cool. So that's a new one. That's the northwest crater. So let's keep that. Cool. That's highlands got. Cool. Far side crater. That's a new one. Oh, it's much easier to see if you zoom out a bit further. I wish I knew that previously. Oh, and then this one's the east far side crater. Okay, I think that's probably enough for now. I think that's all the main ones that I can get for the time being until I come back. I could completely just alter my orbit and fly around and get different ones, but at this point I kind of just want to actually go to the Mun. So, okay, so I'm going to extend my orbit back out. So I think you want to do it from around here, because then you're slowing yourself down, you're getting a smaller orbit, whereas if I did it along the other side, I've then got a massive orbit which is going to send me out of the Kerbin system. If I do it the other way, that gives me a nice low, well, not nice and low, but a much lower orbit, which is then uses a lot less fuel to correct and to be able to get into the atmosphere. Let's warp forward until we're back orbiting Kerbin. Problem is if I want to try and land on the light side of the planet, do I have enough fuel? So normally what I could easily just do, the most efficient thing to do would be burn here and reduce it just a little bit so you're just in the atmosphere, and then you can just slowly slow down. And what you can even do is you can just do it really slowly and barely scrape the atmosphere, and that aerial braking will bring the apoapsis further down and very slowly get back. But it's just nicer to land when it's daytime. So let's drop a quick save and warp around to the maneuver. This is wildly inefficient, but doesn't matter too much because I've got loads of fuel. Never mind. I lied. It does matter because apparently that last little bit is what I would have needed to actually get back in the atmosphere. Reload. That's what I get for pretending that I know what I'm talking about. So let's actually make the maneuver so that I definitely have enough fuel for it. And then I can go around and see what orbit will actually get me in the atmosphere. There we go. That should actually work this time. And we're in the atmosphere, which is fine. And about 30k means I should come in. Not too quickly, but also probably should actually get into the atmosphere and stay there instead of coming back out again with a lower orbit. And that's it. We're back in the atmosphere. Burn the tiny amount of fuel that's left. Jettison there. Did I forget to put a decoupler again? In fact, I definitely did forget, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to see that. I mean, if anything, I kind of want that to explode. Oh no, I didn't want that to explode. Or that. Or the whole ship. That's bad. And this is why we remembered to quick save. Cool, and we're about to enter back into the atmosphere. There we go. What I might just do to save ourselves is get ready to jettison the heat shield. Shame as it is to not actually be able to use the ablator that I've lugged all the way into space. It's better to not explode. If I can get down to 2,000, I think that should be me going enough speed where this... Because this capsule's pretty decent at re-entering without a heat shield anyway. This is where is my famous last words, and doesn't happen at all. Huh. I think the heat shield is falling off, however it's being pressed up against it. I don't know, or does it stay on? And actually you don't need a decoupler with a heat shield. I don't know. No, yeah, there it goes. Oh well. I guess it at least hopefully then helped still. And there we are. Return from orbiting the Mun. Cover the vessel. And oh wow, 300 science earned. That is amazing. So got all that. He also got 3 experience for that. I don't know how much it needs to level up. Cool. Well, as much as I was going to try and land on the Mun this time, I am not going to do that because I've not got the thing for it. So just before we finish off today, what I think I'll do is I'll do this mission of rendezvousing to craft around Kerbin. I wonder if I do this mission, will that count for rendezvousing 2 vessels? I think it will. I was initially going to just launch 2 spaceships and then dock them, but if I can just do the one, that's even better. Let's quickly have a quick nosy, quickly, what I can get. I might as well just grab all of these. Ooh, landing. I definitely will want some landing struts for when I, land on the Mun. We'll save our science for now. We'll get what we need as and when. Okay, so since I've got plenty of ships capable of getting to orbit, let's just grab one of them. I can delete this stupid decoupler from it. Let's just scrap all this bit of it. Instead of solid fuel boosters, because you can't really control... you can't control them at all once they've been launched. I'm gonna use rocket engines instead. And then what I can do to sort of make them a bit more boostery is I've put a swivel at the bottom and then 2 reliant ones either side. It's probably going to have way more fuel than I need for this mission. But then what I've got is I've got the fuel duct. So if I bring that over there, that will mean that all this fuel empties out into here. And because that's constantly emptying it out, it means that these parts of the ship can be, when they're jettisoned, I've then got this tank completely full still. So unlike with the solid fuel boosters, I can't do anything. I've already, when they're jettisoned, I'm already missing half my fuel. When these are jettisoned, I'm actually still got a full tank of fuel. Let's throttle up to about half and just take off. Throttle up to full. As I wasn't going anywhere near as quick as I was hoping to then. Where have my engine sounds gone? Oh, is this a problem with this mod? No, it's supposedly there. Oh, I don't have engine sounds. That's a shame. Cool, and now that they're done, jettison that, crank that up to full. And we've still got a full tank of fuel. Set that as target. 77 to 87. Probably should have waited until he was about there before taking off, because then we might have met up with each other, but so I'm a little bit out with that than I would have liked. Probably should have made sure about that earlier. I can correct that though. Fully in orbit. And what I can do to just help out a little bit is if I go to the ascending node, add a maneuver, and then burn radial, I think it's normal, anti-normal, I don't know, one of the other, radial or normal, it's something like that. But I can adjust those until the ascending node says there's no difference. And then that'll mean that I'm on the same orbital plane as whatever his name is. And the same with doing sort of adjustments. I like to cancel that, and then I can just easily see that we're on the same plane. So, to my knowledge, the basics of meeting up with people in an orbit is when you're targeted, you can see the sort of intersect points. And essentially, if your orbit is bigger than the other craft, you'll move slower. And if your orbit is smaller than the other craft, you'll move quicker than them. So if you need to catch up to them, you want to reduce your orbit. If you need to slow down to meet up with them, you need to increase your orbit. So if I go to intersect point 1, which is here, and then looks like so they'll be there, so I need to slow down my orbit, do I? Do that. We then only... Oh, I can get nice and close. Oh, no. I can get to like 500 meters away from him, which isn't too bad. Cool, and we're about to start the burn. Again, I'll close that. Then I can see... Intersect difference is... That should be okay. Drop down a quick save, because I always forget to do that. There you can see, because we're sort of going the long way around, he's coming up on the underside of us. So we can now see our target's velocity. So this is how quick we're going relative to the other craft. And we're fairly close to the target now, so if I start slowing down my orbit, which is increasing my orbital period. But what that's doing is, because I'm now matching my speed, our orbits are aligning. Then, to be efficient, we'd wait until we're close again, and we'd keep doing adjustments at the opposite side to make it meet up. I'm lazy, so I'm just going to point myself at the other craft. That's what that target marker is. What's-his-face is somewhere in this direction. So if I just point there and burn towards him, see here, the separation is drastically going down. And so that means I'm going to meet him at this point here. There. There he is. So can I switch to him now? I can. Excellent. Did this count then as well? Rendezvous 2 vessels. Amazing. Okay, that's good. I'm glad that this was all worth it. Cool. Let's quick save. And let's try and E.V.E. him. Move him over to this ship. Thankfully, I have played a lot of Outer Wilds, so maneuvering about in space like this, I'm kind of used to it. I don't know why I talk. Every single time I've been like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing with this, something has then immediately gone wrong. There we go. Transfer Jeb into there, so that when I go back to Kaluth, he is now on board. And now I can just head back to the Kerbol Space Center. Sweet. Now we're deorbiting. We have our 2 Kerbols on board. Cool. So we're back in the atmosphere. Let's drop down a quick save. Part of me feels like I should use this fuel up, but I really don't need to. Just get rid of that. Is this the first time we've had a heat shield that's actually done something, because I keep accidentally jettisoning them or not having them attached correctly? Oh dear. Cool. Fairly close now. Let's give them some fireworks. No. It's water. It wasn't high enough for fireworks. That was anticlimactic. But we're landed, and everybody is safe. Kalis is back from being stranded in orbit. We can recover the vessel. And we're back and we're here. So we've got a decent amount of money, actually. We've got both of those contracts completed. So next time... Aha! Explore the Mun. Walk on the surface. So I was hoping to get that done today, but we've got a decent amount of progress done, I think. We've got a lot of money now. Let's accept that, because that is definitely what we're doing next time. We don't need to do any other prep, I don't think. I've got all things I need to get to the Mun. So that will be my goal next time. Amazing. Well, thanks very much for watching again, and next time we will be landing on the moon. The Mun, even. Mun. I always say moon. Mun. It's different. Thanks very much, guys. See you next time.